Yo, what's going on, guys? And today I wanted to do the top international prospect for this year's upcoming draft. So before we start today's video, I want to hear your thoughts down below in the comment section. What do you guys think of the top players in this year's draft? And if you guys agree with me, who do you think is going to be the top international player? So let's get right into today's video. Like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this. And we do content for every other types of players and teams. So obviously Nolan, if you guys don't know who he is, this is a guy who more than likely is the best player in this international group. He's the guy who has the highest ceiling and highest floor. He seems to be a guy who could more than likely be an all-star caliber player, a guy who's gonna maybe be the type of person you want to build around, or at least be a running mate. He actually seems like he could be in like that Jalen Green type arc. He has really good creativity when it comes to shot making. He's a good ball handler. And he's kind of a combo guard. Yeah, his shooting splits of 36% from the field and 29% from three aren't great, and his defense hasn't been the best. But dude, he can run the pick and roll. He can create space for himself and his teammates, and he has like 5 assists a game. I think he's more of a combo guard than a point guard, but he can play either. I think his floor is kind of being more of a Keontae George, and I think his ceiling is being maybe a Jalen Green with a bit more playmaking. Next up, Alex Tui in Australia. He's been a guy who's been almost came over a few times, shooting 35% from three. I think he's going to be a guy who can be plug and play. I don't think he'll ever be a huge scorer, but he's a guy who can play the combo forward spot. He's a solid 3-point shooter. He's able to play multiple positions, and I think he's the ideal floor spacer and multi-positional defender at the combo forward, who has the basketball IQ and the hustle to make him be an impact rotational player from day one. And I don't think he's going to be a guy who will ever be able to create off the dribble or create his own shot, but he'll be someone who can be a stretch four, who can defend some wings and forwards, and his reliable 3-point shooting is what's going to keep him on the floor consistently, in my opinion. Now let's go to the next one. Noah Penda. He's a guy who's playing in France, and he's someone who is just feasting on the defensive end. Really good hustler. He's got a lot of energy, plays in transition, athletic, and is a great defender and rebounder. Out here already getting himself almost 6 rebounds a night, a few assists with 10 points, while also putting up basically 3 stocks a game, 1.5 blocks, 1.5 steals. The fact that he can guard 1 through 4, has an NBA body, has the NBA athleticism, and he's shooting pretty decently from 3, kind of how like Tijan Saloon was last year. I think Noah is going to be that kind of combo forward prospect that people start to, fall in love with. Next up is Malik Lewis, who was in the G League last year with the Capitanes, and he was in the draft last year, but he pulled out and is now in the NBL in Australia. And he's this kind of like Swiss Army knife forward. Not the best 3-point shooter, but he's shooting 46% from 3, about 5 rebounds, 8 points a night. He's someone who's still very raw, and he picked up the game a little bit later than others, but he's great in transition, has some great athleticism. His offensive game's more of slashing, as he doesn't really have much there, but his defensive tools are where it shines, and he's a guy who might be a little bit of a project, but those defensive skills are what's going to get you really excited. Mohamed, he's someone who's playing in Italy for Reggio Emilia, and he seems to be a guy who's going to be an athletic rim protector, who's a switch big. He's right now averaging 10 points a night, 8 rebounds, 1.5 blocks, 63% from the field, and he's 6'11", 228 pounds. He might be more of a pure big, but if he can get that 3-point shot, he has the athleticism and the mobility to be a guy who can guard and maybe play some 4, but he's really athletic inside, finishes with high efficiency. He can guard in space around the perimeter and even go, obviously protect the rim. So I think a lot of people are going to look at him and get reminded kind of like a Jalen Duren, which makes sense. Outside of Nolan, I think Bogo is a guy that Markovic is a guy that I think has the second highest potential. He's a 7-foot point forward. They have him listed as a power forward center. I think he can play small forward. This guy really is, I think his floor is being kind of a similar player to Santi Aldama. He's averaging 13 points, 3 assists, 9 rebounds, about a block and a steal a night, shooting 52% from the field and 45% from three. But the fact that he's a pass dribble shoot guy who can also protect the rim a little bit, guard inside and out, I think also I saw him play in Eurocamp during the Adidas Eurocamp this past season. I can't believe he's right now a projected second round pick. I think he could be one of the biggest international steals in this year's draft. If he really does have that much potential, I think it's ridiculous that he's this low. Ethan Almanza, he's been a very hyped up Spaniard prospect. He was a projected late first, early second in last year's draft, and that was a weak class. And this year, right now, playing the Perth Wildcats after leaving G League Ignite, he averaged 8 points, an assist a night, 4 rebounds, 49% from the field, 28% from three. He's a decent pick and roll guy who has good basketball IQ and strong versatility. He's just like, I don't know, he struggles against bigger, more physical people. He just kind of looks still like a kid at times when he's playing, and we thought he was going to be a good three-point shooter and a good passer, and that really hasn't carried over. Ben Henshall, his teammate, also in Perth, is averaging 10 points, 3 assists, 3.5 rebounds, about 1.5 steals, half a block, 39% from the field, 35% from three. He's a 6'6" point guard. Like, this guy's playmaking ability, shot creation, and the fact that he can play the 1, 2, or 3, can be a backup guard or wing, and has really good shooting mechanics, and showing his willingness to play defense, to attack closeouts. And I think he's a guy who has a lot of potential. And another one who I can't believe is just projected to go in the second round. I think he's someone who could climb up the boards. Again, 6'6", got some positional size, has the playmaking to be a secondary playmaker. I think he's really fun to watch. Hugo Gonzalez is kind of like a Denny Avdia type guy, playing for Real Madrid, rotational player. About 10 points, 2.5 assists, 4 rebounds a night, 44% from the field, 31% from three. He's another guy who can play 1 through 3, maybe even 1 through 4. He's 6'7", 190 pounds. And his motor and his ability to guard multiple positions while also being a secondary playmaker who can facilitate the offense. If he can get that three-point shot down and be a scorer and take advantage of what he can do in transition, he really could be a guy who climbs up into the lottery and at least is a Denny Avdia type guy, if not maybe better, maybe be even closer to like, I guess like a better version of Denny would be getting closer to like a Franz, I guess. Ben over here, who's playing for Germany, Ben Sarif, I guess you would say his name. 13 points, 4.5 assists, 3 rebounds, a steal a night, 45% from the field, 32% from three. He's their point guard, by the way. He's a 6'7" point guard. 6'6" listed, but 6'7". He's a great scorer, really creative with his passing, his shooting, and I think the fact that he can run the pick and roll. He's a starter. He's playing defense, and his numbers aren't looking the most efficient, but he is a good shooter. It's just he has huge volume. I think at the NBA level, you can play the 1, 2, or 3, so you can either develop him as a point guard or a wing or as a combo guard, and I think there's a lot of ways you can go about that. So I really like Ben. His teammate Noah is someone that I think a lot of people like. 6'8", 6'10" now. Okay, he's grown. 10 points, 5 rebounds, about a steal a night, 47% from the field, 27% from three. He's just kind of how the way people look at Noah Clowney. This is the same way with Noah. Is this guy's funny? They're both named Noah, but is it Esgun? Esgun? Someone tell me how to say his name. But he's just one of those. He can be a small ball 5, but he's a power forward. He can guard any position. Offensively, he has the tools to be a great player, and he's an okay passer. But the way that he's able to be, again, that pass, dribble, shoot ability, and the willingness to be a good defender, I think is something that makes him stand out. Michael Ruzic, the Croatian, is becoming a guy who he's playing over in Spain, but his defensive ability is what stands out. His frame, if you look him the way he moves and stuff. I think his frame reminds me of Nikola Mirotic, but he's actually a really good defender and he likes to space the floor. So I think he's a guy that the tools wise is someone that stands out. Jean, what is it? Beringer. Dude, this guy's an athlete playing in France right now, I believe. No, in the Adriatic League, but he's French and he's playing a little bit of minutes, but he's a pogo stick. 4 points, 4 rebounds, a block a night, 61% from the field. You're seeing the Mitchell Robinsons, the Jesse Edwards, the Derek Lively's, the Khalil Wares, those efficient rim protectors who can be rim runners, who can just run up and down the court in transitions, have good motors and versatilities just to be that modern rim running big man. Rocco, he's a guy who's been falling. He was early on when this draft was projected a few years out. He was thought to be a potential for number 1 overall pick. That doesn't seem to be happening. He's a guy who could slip back into the lottery. 7'3", 230 pounds, younging. He shoots 48% from the field, 25% from three. He's massive. His shot blocking ability is what you like. The thing is he's kind of regressed and he hasn't gotten better. He's actually gotten worse. Dink, he's now playing for the Capitanes because the G League Ignite doesn't exist anymore. He's putting up 9 points, an assist a night, 3 rebounds, a steal, 46% from the field, 28% from three. He's a guy who's kind of like the modern day wing, 6'8". You really like his size, has the athleticism, shows the offensive flashes. Due to the fact that he has that multi-positional versatility to play the 2, the 3, maybe even the 4, and guard 1 through 4 is something that you really like. This is the third sleeper I have who also I think has potential to be a really good player. I've been following him since last year. Johan Grulin. Someone tell me if I said that correctly. He plays for the Hamburg Towers. He's putting up 8 points, 5 rebounds, 1.5 blocks, 56% from the field, 44% from three. His rim protection as a weak side rim protector, he's like a switch big. He's more of a 4 who can play small ball 5 as a stretch big. He's got really good basketball IQ. He has this disciplined, no frill style about him that just makes him a really high floor option for a team. And with that being said, I think worst case scenario, he's kind of like a Maxi Kleba, but like best case scenario, I don't even know, man. It could be better. And last guy is Sergio De Lara. He's a 6'7" kind of combo guard. He could play the 1, 2, or 3. He has the court vision, putting up 2.5 assists, about 6 points, 2 rebounds, and 48% from the field, 38.9% from three. He has the court vision. The shooting efficiency from three is there. It's the 6'7" size, and the fact that he's playing in a high-level league is what makes him really interesting. So I think a lot of people are thinking, okay, what could this be? He's someone that I think people are going to like because of that multi-positional versatility. But, yeah, that's basically it for us right now. What we have over here, let's just get back to the beginning. And, yeah, that was everybody. Let me know if there was somebody that we might have forgotten that we should have made it. And, yeah, if you made it to the end, I hope you guys enjoyed. Peace out. That's a long video.